It's actually 15 suffered from that quite a bit. FF15 suffered from that quite a bit because FF15 is really fantastic. It's a brilliant game, and people were already ready to hate it because it's not turn-based or whatever, you know. I can't believe they made Tifa a B cup. Yeah, I love that one. That one's great. That was my favorite one. Huh? I guess that was the forest, though, wasn't it? Yeah, that one's. Oh, jeez, dude. That one is quite a sad one. But here's the thing, though, Peanut Butter. Her chest didn't get smaller. Her chest. First off, who fucking cares? Like, that's a defining factor of the game. Ah, yes, the Final Fantasy with the girl with the giant boobs. That's the major plot device of that game. Who cares? They could have made her freaking flat as a washboard. Wouldn't have mattered. But second of all, they didn't. They just made her more realistic and proportionate, and, you know, gave her, like, compression with her 500 sports bras that she has on. Well, they're clearly not the target audience then, you know? They're not the target audience. Sorry that they have integrity. Oh, man, what a shame. Damn, I hate it when games have integrity. Arrgh, rabble, rabble, rabble. I just want bouncy boobs and no content whatsoever. Oh, I know, I'm just mocking the idiots.
I'll cut down anyone in my way.
Yeah. I'm with you. We're of the same mind here. Yep. Yeah, the thing is, those kinds of people won't listen, so it just blah.
Easy there, bro. I don't got time to
Really?
spar today.
A gun,
Dateline.
and he's holding it sideways.
That artifact you've got belongs to Ifried. Why do you have it?
Just picked it up off the ground somewhere.
Don't screw with me, tough guy. I have ways of making you talk.
Ha! I wonder how much pain gets you to open up.
You're the one about to be tested.
It's not up to you how this goes. If I want to talk, we'll talk. And if I want to fight, we'll fight.
What are you?
Dumb.
I'd play more, but I don't want to keep old Pointy Beard waiting.
Why was that necessary?
We'll chat some more later, with our fists.
Wait!
Aizen! We need to get the flowers to everyone on the ship!
You can handle it!
But you're... Let's head back, Laffy said.
All right.
So, all right, let me dispel an illusion. A lot of people want to make the assumption on FF15 or FF7 Remake that it's only going to be a few hour long game, you know, kind of thing. Don't think of FF7 Remake as, oh, it's only Midgar and that's it. Think of it as a standalone game, and that the additional, quote, episodes are sequels to that game. You know, think of it as like, just call the game Mako or something like that, you know? And what we're getting is the first installment of that game. It's going to have 30 hours of story content. So they say. If it doesn't, then you can fault it. But that was their promise, was 30 hours of story content. And it's going to have a lot of elements of the story that have been altered or changed or added or whatever. There's going to be a huge difference between FF7 and FF7 Remake, because it's a remake, you know? So if you like, don't judge it as FF7, you know, experience the FF7 Remake, call it something else, call it a different game, Just call it, you know, Mako 1, and then the next episode is Mako 2. It's just they're going to be in the same game engine, the same visuals, same game company. Think of it like a Golden Sun. How the game was divided up into multiple games to create a longer experience, you know? Or I guess you could kind of compare it to Xenosaga, but it's like, that kind of sucked, so. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, Code Kaiser. I think it's a poor idea. You're once again, you're thinking it's a whole thing that's coming together, and it kind of is, but it's like, it's going to be its own game, I can assure you.
From the sound of it.
And if it isn't, then we can judge it.
I've
But
never
hey,
seen any object or
you're going to
art
get
quite
spoiled,
like it.
so.
Maybe it's that relic Ifrid brought back from a continent across the sea. An art from another
You want to see what it's
continent.
about? Come on over here,
Do you think
April,
Aizen
what,
will be
15th or
alright?
whatever?
That Moloch seemed to know what he was doing. I'd rather we just
What's the
stayed
new
out of
release
his
date?
way,
April
but
First the
7th,
throne,
10th,
and now
10th.
here. What is Zavid after anyway?
And we'll be playing it.
he was probably
All
just
the way
making
through?
up that date business. But still, old pointy beard?
Just like Ifrid. When I was talking with Benwick, he said Ifrid had a pointy beard.
You don't say.
Then I bet Zavid is that
Not
wanted
depending on
Moloch
sales.
the
They're already
Abbey's
working on the
looking
next
for.
part.
Yeah. He must be aware they're after him. And then he baited Aizen into following him, using something that belonged to Ifrid.
Plus, they have pre-orders to
And I'm
determine
pretty
how
sure
sales are going to
Aizen
go.
knew that, but he went after him all the same. Ugh, this can only go well, I'm sure.
Is Aizen in trouble?
It doesn't matter either way, if his Corsair scourge goes untreated. For now, let's get back to the ship.
There's another delusion I'd like to dispel about the Final Fantasy VII remake, and that is a lot of people think that the game will take another 5 years to come out with the next episode, and that's also incorrect. So, and they're like, well, but it took 15 years for this to come out. It's like, nope, no, it didn't. People see that PS3.
Those two. That's the phrase.
I'm not every.
Your point? Other.
You're saying.
Don't be Westgate. Maybe not.
There
Blah
you
blah
go.
blah
man,
blah blah
as an
blah
exorcist.
blah blah
Then
blah
I
blah blah
haven't-
blah
What?
blah blah. Oh my god, I'm glad I didn't listen to that. A lot of people think that the PS3 demo that they gave like a billion years ago was them saying that the FF7 remake is coming, which has never been the case. The FF7 remake actually has only been in development for about, what, 5 years-ish? A little bit less. And they had to scrap the project and rebuild it again as well, because they wanted to do it in-house instead of third-party. They wanted to really give it a lot of detail and effort and quality, so yeah, about 5 years probably. Maybe less. And because they've already built the framework of the game engine and assets and visuals and everything like that, the actual additional episodes, they'll probably only take half a year, maybe a year to make. So we'll get them regularly. And it's also significantly cheaper for them to make the additional episodes because all the framework and groundwork and everything has already been taken care of. It's just about making the rest of it, you know, with they already got the preset assets ready to go. They well, not preset, but they already got the assets ready to go. They just gotta develop it, you know. Yeah, 1 year per episode seems about reasonable, and it would be smart for them to release them annually anyway. Fair enough. Fair, you know, binge watch an anime, binge play the games, but I do prefer to binge watch shows, so I'm with you on that. But with games, I'm too passionate about games to wait. If there's something I want to play, I want to play it. Maybe. I mean, it would be in their best interest to kind of throw us for a loop a little bit, don't you think?
We've brought back your solitomas. Drink up.
You've saved us.
Cold Steel 3 will be added to the list when I get it. Yeah, but those definitely have to be played in
Where's the
order
first
because
mate?
they're heavily
We
story.
bumped into some wannabe tough guy Moloch, and he just took off after him.
What? That must have been Zavid. Why didn't you guys follow him?
But yeah,
leave
the
you
Trails
all with the
games will
Corsair
definitely
Scourge?
be played in order.
Yes,
But if
Aizen's
I
the one
play
in
the first
danger
5 and I
here.
really like
Is
them,
it
yeah.
because the Abbey is after Zavid?
So you even knew about it?
I've never played
I
one,
heard
no.
the details
But
from
they're
a
on the
merchant
list.
who deals with the Abbey. Some big shot exorcist named Melchior has set up a trap for Zavid and Loringen.
If Aizen gets caught up in that, he might not make it out alive.
So now there's Melchior to worry about.
Why is Lord Melchior assuming direct command
Nope.
to capture Zavid? Wait, that's not important.
Never played Trails in the
What
Sky.
matters is I can turn Lavi's head over to him and finally return to the Abbey.
Melchior is a legate. A powerful enemy, trap or no.
But I will
You guys
on
are
stream
useless.
eventually.
Well, fine. If you're not going to go help him,
So doesn't that make
we
it better
will.
because it means I'll stream
What
them?
makes you think you're capable of being any help?
Would you let an ally get slaughtered just because you were scared?
What?
We want to save him. Maybe we'll lose. It still won't stop us. We are the ones who decide our fates. Only us. That's just the creed of Ifrid's pirates.
Good question. I'll
You're
answer
a
that
real
after this
hothead,
cutscene.
You know that? Nobody said anything about not helping Aizen.
Huh?
You all stay here, take your medicine like good little boys, and be ready to welcome back your first mate and captain.
The captain?
Why else would Aizen knowingly barge into a trap, if not to save Ifrid?
Ah, of course. Leave the ship and crew to me.
Here, this one's for you.
Those pirates haven't a lick of sense in them.
They don't let reason dictate who they protect.
If you say so, Demon.
Now, about where Aizen's headed.
Those exorcists were talking about some place called Loringen.
Yes, it's a tower in the northern part of Westgand where the exorcists train.
Lines up with what Benwick told us. That must be the place.
There must be a lot of exorcists. Hang in there, Aizen.
That'll take more than basic exorcists to do him in.
We ought to pity any poor exorcists who meet the Reaper.
Right. Let's work together and find him.
So, we don't know, basically, what the actual cost of the episodes are going to be, how much how much additional content there will be, whatever. It's very likely that they'll be reduced price because of the whole episodic nature of it, the pre-planned episodic nature. However, with them promising 30 hours of story content with each episode, A, we don't know how much there's going to be, how many episodes, they don't even know right now. And B, we don't know how much it's going to cost. It's possible that it's a sort of, expansion pack type price, which is around 40. It's possible that it's an entirely new game, which is going to be 70. It's possible that it's just a DLC pack, which is like 30. Who knows? We don't know. But
Solitoma is as awful as I
just depends on what kind of content they're promising us.
never have to drink it again. Are you all right, Eleanor?
Is this your second experience with the Corsair Scourge?
No, I had it for a different reason. In the Abbey, it's
Royale
tradition
isn't
for
a
initiates to drink
isn't a bundle,
Solitoma as
though.
part of their welcoming festivities.
Sounds like
That's not how that
hazing
worked.
to me.
When everyone shares the same experience, drinking something so shockingly revolting, our bonds are strengthened. It's a good thing.
If you say so.
I really did believe I'd never have to taste it again. To be blunt, I hate it.
You're lucky you think it tastes so terrible. That means you also know what tastes good. Right, Velvet?
What does that mean? Velvet can't taste anything aside from blood. What? Is that because she's a demon?
I don't think so, Kaiser.
I'm aware of one other flavor. Mogulu.
You
here's
overestimate
your dose of
RPG
Solitoma.
following.
No!
Get back here!
Don't! Keep that salad away from... The sweet taste of another suffering.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay 100 for it either. So There are 4 Cold Steel games? Oh, well, I only have 2. I have, yeah, but they're like the collector's edition PS4 versions. But yeah, I have Trails in the Sky 1, 2, and 3. Those are the only PC games on the entire Variety Night list. I made an exception because as a birthday gift, someone gave me the collector's editions of Cold Steel 1 and 2 for PS4. And I want to play them, but I need to play Trails in the Sky first to get the whole experience. And I made an exception for that. But yeah, the way Royal Edition works is if you had FF14, Royal Edition only costs, what, $20 to upgrade, because it's basically just DLC. And then when they did sales for FF15, it was the normal price, but it was Royal Edition instead of the basic edition.
Loringen Tower lies
So no, it wasn't a bundle pack or anything like that. It was just they upgraded the version, and then that's what you bought instead. The end.
On the Bernac Plateau.
So if you already had the game, you got it for super cheap.
Obvious trap, couldn't it at least be someplace more convenient?
If you didn't have it, you just paid normal price. I have heard some things about Trails in the Sky. Yeah, I have heard like all my complaints about just all the cutscenes in this game, or rather all the dialogue in this game, where it's just dialogue and dialogue and dialogue and no actual cutscene or interaction with the characters. I have heard that Trails games suffer greatly with that. So, you know, I'm cautiously optimistic about it, but I'm still interested in the franchise because you hear a lot about it, so whatever. We'll play them.
Why does it seem like everyone around me is completely mad?
Because they are.
Yeah! Continuing to fight when you know you'll lose just is insane!
Would you stand around and watch your comrade die just because you're scared?
I wouldn't want to, but getting myself killed wouldn't save anyone either.
Yes, it would be illogical to fight.
Is being illogical really that bad?
Well,
at the Empyrean's throne, I remember Velvet standing, despite the horrible pain she felt. Rokuro is training with all his heart in order to defeat his brother Shigure. And Kurogane used up his own head to forge a powerful blade.
none of that is very logical.
Yeah, I don't know quite how to put it, but I think it's all amazing.
Aren't you forgetting someone?
I'll explain more detail, Jill. It was
traveling with us, even though
quickly
she
spoken
care.
and not exactly entirely true.
Yes, go on.
I don't really understand what that's about. Miss Mogulu, hang in there!
Well, it is amazing in some sense, I suppose.
So, as far as Apple goes, I think, and no offense to Apple phone owners, I think Apple iPhones are a fad and hugely expensive and limiting in terms of functionality compared to just about anything non-Apple. It's like having a brick instead of, like, I don't know, literally anything that actually has something like that can actually do stuff, functionality, you know. And then the brick is like 10 times more expensive, you know, like the equivalent. I think Apple is an overhyped fan brand name. That's my take on Apple. I don't like any of their products. I used to have an iPod. That was fine, but I mean, there was no other real MP3 player that had good functionality, so I mean, that was really the only choice. But I'm not a fan, but it's still overpriced for what it did.
What's wrong,
completely.
Buffy said?
I was just wondering why Aizen and Zavid can't work together to find Ifreed.
I'll explain in detail,
All men
greater
care
detail,
about is their
Jill, after this.
reputation, their street cred. Such a hassle.
Oh, really?
Well, I can't fully deny it.
The same could be said of women, and of everyone, really. It's hard to work alongside someone unless you strive to understand their thoughts and feelings.
And if you can't?
Well,
It's like Zavid said. You start talking with your fists instead.
Sounds
Yeah.
harder than I thought.
As far as what I was saying about how RPGs are the least favorite game genre, what I mean to say is really that RPGs are among the least favored genres of all time. The least favorite genre is actually more like strategy RPG, like Ogre Battle, like that. That is definitely a very, very, very unpopular genre. But RPGs as like a whole thing, if you encompass all RPGs, are really not that popular. They're pretty low tier in terms of popularity. There's a reason why RPGs are becoming lesser and lesser over time, and why the majority of RPGs are anime styled. And the reason is because there's not a lot of demand and market for RPGs, and anime style is cheap to do. So it's very simple. Also, RPG fans and anime fans tend to meet up on the same parallel very often. Like, RPG fans tend to be anime fans and vice versa. Very common. Very, 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 very common. It's another reason why a lot of anime takes place in like Middle Ages type stuff, you know, with a lot of magic and stuff, mysticism, you know, very RPG style elements. Yeah, but that's the thing, it's action. If you have an action game with RPG elements, it's different. Also, Elder Scrolls specifically is a Western style RPG,
I'm ready for this.
which is more open world and action, real-time based. So Elder Scrolls are actually Western RPGs, not JRPGs. RPG elements in video games is very common. Because, you know, character growth is still cool and fun and valuable to any player, regardless of how nerdy or not nerdy you are. Having your character get stronger and do cooler stuff is awesome. Technically, Dark Souls is a JRPG because it's an RPG made in Japan.
You're not hurt, are you?
But because it's that action style and it's so dark and it's so powerful, it's so cool, you know, it's okay. You can be a fan of Dark Souls and not be considered some RPG nerd or whatever. You know what I mean?
Woo! It's a big hit!
Yeah, but the real thing is that turn-based RPG is the lesser popular, or something like this is lesser popular because of the anime aesthetic. Ow. Pokemon is a popular RPG, dude. Pokemon is not an RPG. I mean, it is in the core, like in its core mechanics. But nobody buys and plays Pokemon because they want a JRPG experience. They buy and play Pokemon because they want to catch all the damn Pokemon. They want to collect the stuff. They want to get the cute Pikachus, man. That's what they're after. Collect them all, exactly. Oh God, he's gonna hit me. Oh no, I didn't. Get wrecked. Nice.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
Daikon coming in with that raid. What's up, dude? Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Hi. I'm BGG. I'm playing Tales of Berseria. It's my first time playing through the game, and I'm having a lot of fun. Story and writing, it's okay, but the gameplay's been top tier. Hope you had a good stream. How did you enjoy Yakuza 7, I believe? I did see that you were playing the Japanese release of that. Without spoiling too much, because I'm very excited for it. I'll be playing through a lot of the Yakuza games later on. I played Kiwami 1 and I played 0, and really enjoyed them both. So Kiwami 0 and the remasters of 3, 4, and 5 are all on the agenda. Yakuza 6 as well, and of course, Yakuza 7 when it comes out. So yeah, there'll be a lot of Yakuza coming up on here. The mechanics of Pokemon are actually severely limiting compared to your standard JRPG. You just have your one character to choose from. They're very different than your standard JRPG, but yeah. You finished SD3? Oh, dude, I just played SD3 for the first time last year thanks to the collection as well, so loved it. Great game.
And look at those rainbows. This is one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Burnak Geyser. The water heats up from underground until the pressure forces it to
Imagine
spray out
Yakuza
from
plus
the
Persona
surface.
5.
And
I'm
the
sold.
rainbows are caused by light reflecting
I'm so
from
excited.
the salt suspended in the mineral water. It took tens of thousands of years for the minerals to accumulate here and form this
that's
phenomenon.
what we're looking at.
Wowee!
That was very educational.
At least you know plenty of trivia, if nothing else.
Additionally, the groundwater veins that feed this geyser are connected to the sea. Because of this, every now and then a boiled octopus or crab will shoot out from the geyser.
No way!
That's impossible. Well, not impossible, but
With the salt content of the geyser's water, I bet they're seasoned to perfection.
Magilo, I'm declaring your bizarre imagination the 8th wonder of the world.
People say that
There's
all
an
the
expectation
time.
of what RPG means, though, from a game genre perspective. You know, like
technically, if you break it down, Halo is my favorite RPG because I play as Halo. He's a cool guy who kills aliens and doesn't afraid of anything. I love Halo. He's my favorite character ever.
You better be ready.
I also love playing as Metroid because he's a really cool robot that defeats aliens as well. I love Metroid. Metroid is a great character. He's my favorite robot.
a taco is an RPG. Yeah, I mean, when you go to the literal sense of the word, of course anything's a freaking RPG, you know? Like, yeah, I know. Metroid is like literally my favorite game franchise of all time, but it's funny to mess with people, so I do. Yeah.
What about this one?
I like to mess with people a lot. Yeah, Metroid is literally my favorite game franchise of all time. I absolutely adore everything, except for, of course, you know, that which will not be named.
Always be on guard.
But yeah, the point is that if you hard define RPG, like everything's an RPG, right? But I think what we're really talking about is your traditional RPG. And you know, what defines an RPG, right? That's a question that I have to answer all the time because one of my friends does this thing called the Grand JRPG Tour where he plays through all the RPGs, all of them. And it's like, well, this game has RPG elements. Well, what's an RPG element? Hard to say. And you know, I used to say that an XP or skill system, you know, like leveling up was kind of the most important aspect of to define an RPG. And I think, yeah, Zernell knows. Zernell knows. I think it's actually a combination of that coupled with like focus on deep and rich story plus character building. You know, it has to have some kind of like skill or XP system, a leveling up system, and then it has to have like a focus on story, character interaction, and character building. And that's a real RPG. And to that end, you know, that narrows down the scope of what is an RPG quite a bit. I did not complete Dragon Warrior 1 yet, but we are almost done. We will get back to Dragon Warrior 1 on the NES, by the way, on Thursday. Thursday is on our next Dragon Warrior day.
Aizen!
That's true, VG.
Did you get
It's
the
very
medicine to
true.
the ship's crew?
Yeah.
Good. My thanks to you.
These soldiers won't be happy in the morning, but they're alive. Is this your work?
Yep.
No. They were like
Borderlands
this
is
when I got
freaking first-person Diablo,
here.
dude.
Must have been Zavid.
He didn't kill a single one. Interesting.
The Abbey is going to great lengths to arrest him.
Even so, he clearly knows he's walking into a trap. What I don't get is why he roped me into all of this. If he didn't want my help, then what need did he have to play the Ifreed card on me?
If you knew this was a trap, why did you come?
To see for myself. When I met Ifreed, I was wallowing in despair that I would ever find a way to
He's
break
so
the Reaper's
kawaii,
curse.
don't you agree, guys?
Stop denying reality, he told me. If you were really born
He's all
with that
blushing
curse,
and
then
stuff.
It's a part of you. But if the
we
Reaper
got the
learns
straight
to
gangsta
grasp
over there.
the wheel of his life, even he may find his creed, his path through stormy waters. And so, I joined him aboard the Von Eltia.
A creed of life.
Let's say someone's murdered the captain. If it came as the result of him living
This
life
guy.
on his
Ugh.
terms, I could accept that. But if
Just
anyone,
pick a direction
if
with
I
your hair,
knew
dude.
anyone
Like,
tries
seriously.
to crush his way of life, I could never forgive them.
Who's there?
It's rude to eavesdrop.
If you got secrets, talk about them at home.
Zavid, isn't there any way you and Eisen can work together somehow?
Not if he's going to keep acting like this.
Well, that's how it is.
What was the point of all that posturing? He could have just stayed hidden. Weirdo.
Can't disagree there.